Welcome to Joyous on Your Life this beautiful day. As you already know, it's a Wednesday and it is a Duvention hour where we get to talk about lifestyle protocol, how you can live at the apex of your life, being productive, helping yourself, your society, and people around you. Promises to be just as interesting today as we will be discussing mental wholeness, missing links, and solution. Mental wholeness. Can a human being achieve mental wholeness? What are those indicators that you are not mentally whole? And what should you do to ensure that you're mentally whole? Remember that mental health is very important because very often we look at what's external, we look at the external factors of why we behave certain ways and forget that it is what happens inside that often dictates what happens outside. So we are looking at mental wholeness. Dr. James Komolafe, after this short break, will be telling us how you can be whole. We'll get into the crux of the matter after this. So stay with us. Promises to be interesting. You too might even have an opportunity to discuss with us. Tell us what your challenges are, how you are struggling to be mentally whole. It will be very wonderful. So shortly, we'll be right back.
While wrapping up the day, unwind with the reminiscence of the day's news from home and abroad with Kaftan TV 7 p.m. News.
Good to have you join us on Kaftan News at 7.
Nigerians are living in up to 5%. Our young people repurpose the harmony symphony.
It's good to have you join us on Kaftan TV News at 7.
We found that the 10 naira card was actually sufficient.
National, foreign news headlines. Get balanced, accurate facts on the latest news in business, politics, entertainment, sports, and more. Live from our studios.
Many thanks for watching. Join us again at 9
Kaftan TV News.
Do you want wider patronage of your goods and services?
Do you want your goods and services to have traction?
Do you desire to make more sales and increase your return on investment?
Kaftan TV has got you covered because you can achieve all this with reasonable amount of money.
With modest charges, we are the best around here for advertising and product promotion.
Whatever you want to say it for us on Kaftan TV.
We are a global multimedia platform aimed at positioning the African viewpoint
on Star Times channels 480 and 124 and free-to-air Nicomsat channels 12518, symbol rate 29500.
With crystal clear digital signals, we reach no fewer than 54 million viewers around the world. For advert bookings and sponsorship of programs, please call
Silas on 081 615 19559, Khadija on 070 713 72115, or Ruben on 080 234 47703.
Kaftan TV.
Imagine a beautiful world.
Do you want wider patronage of your goods and services?
Do you want your goods and services to have traction?
Do you desire to make more sales and increase your return on investment?
Kaftan TV has got you covered because you can achieve all this with reasonable amount of money.
With modest charges, we are the best around here for advertising and product promotion.
Whatever you want to say it for us on Kaftan TV.
We are a global multimedia platform aimed at positioning the African viewpoint
on Star Times channels 480 and 124 and free-to-air Nicomsat channels 12518, symbol rate 29500.
With crystal clear digital signals, we reach no fewer than 54 million viewers around the world. For advert bookings and sponsorship of programs, please call
Silas on 081 615 19559, Khadija on 070-713-72115, or Ruben on 080-234-47703.
Kaftan TV.
Say on Kaftan TV, imagine a beautiful world. We're not just bragging, we know our onions in the world of broadcasting. One of our outlets to express ourselves to the world is our flagship program, Matters Arising. Join veteran broadcaster Ruben Okala and our crack team live.
And they gave us a high price, and we just say, Nigeria, we ready. As I said earlier, the lyrics is up, talking about the old new national.
On Kaftan TV, StarTimes channel 480 and 124, as well as Night Concert frequency 12518, symbol rate 29500.
Monday to Friday
at 8 p.m. live. You can join the conversation by calling this phone number 0802-993-8365. It's dramatic and insightful. Don't miss it. Please join us. When we say on Kaftan TV, imagine a beautiful world. We're not just bragging, we know our onions in the world of broadcasting. One of our outlets to express ourselves to the world is our flagship program, Matters Arising. Join veteran broadcaster Ruben Okala and our crack team live.
And they gave us a high price, and we just say, Nigeria, we ready. As I said earlier, the lyrics is up, talking about the old new national.
On Kaftan TV, StarTimes channel 480 and 124, as well as Night Concert frequency 12518, symbol rate 29500.
Monday to Friday
at 8 p.m. live. You can join the conversation by calling this phone number 0802-993-8365. It's dramatic and insightful. Don't miss it. Please join us. When we
Welcome back from that break. Now, before we bring in Dr. James Komolafe to give us the eduvention way of mental wholeness, figuring out the links and getting solution to it, there are certain key points we must get right when it comes to mental wholeness. It covers several aspects, but today we'll be getting into 5. That's before the eduvention way of mental wholeness. Now, first of all, would be connecting with people. It seems, especially from some of us in Africa, it looks like we are losing that community base that we often have. When you go to homes these days, everybody has their gadgets and they are trying to connect with people far away while disconnecting with the closest people. And so it is very important to connect with people. You can give opportunity to, it will give you an opportunity to share positive experiences, get to laugh, get to enjoy what a lot of people call the small things in life, but very often it isn't small. Those are memories you would often keep forever. And a lot of experts have always told you that connecting with people helps with your self-worth and mental health. It gives you that self-worth and gives you some sense of belonging, that you are a part of a bigger world, so that you do not feel alone. You do not feel like you're not significant. Imagine staying a day. For some people, I don't think I can stay a day without getting a phone call from someone I love, who would say, you know what, I need to know how you're doing. It matters to me that you're doing well. A lot of people are beginning to lose that because you have work, you have activities, and you forget what's important. So we need to look inwards and connect with people When we talk about connecting with people, another thing that has caused, in Africa, we are now skeptical of each other. Unfortunately, we are becoming very skeptical of each other, where you don't want your kids going to the next house to have a meal because you are not sure the person has good intentions towards your family. If you give your pikin winch, I don't know if that's still right, but back here, I don't know how we have started building such huge walls, and so it becomes very tough. Children grow up, all they have is school, then the religious activity, and after that, that's it. What happens to visiting friends, exchanging books? And that's how I grew up, exchanging books. And there's always the community play center where you go play football, ride bicycles, connect with people, laugh. Those are those things we grew up with. Sometimes you look at the 21st century child and he can tell you all about Sonic, Flash, all the superhero characters, but cannot tell you the next neighbor's name, somebody even within their age range. So let's build that family-based environment, that family-friendly environment in our small communities. Let's learn to connect with people. A lot of people will say, get off your phone as a rule in the dining table. But how many families these days have the luxury of sitting over a dining table at a certain time of the day to say, you know what, let's have a meal, let's pray over a meal? And even I miss that. That was how my childhood was. But these days you're like, you're hungry, go get yourself a meal, and because you have to work and you're probably not home and all that. So I'll read out what is pointed out here as how you can connect with people. First of all, it says, if possible, take time each day to be with your family. For example, try arranging a fixed time to eat dinner together. How cute is that? But like I said, it could be difficult, but as long as you try, I'm sure you can figure it out. The second one will be arrange a day out with friends you have not seen for a while. Arrange a day out with friends you haven't seen for a while. That's another way you can ensure that you're connecting with people, you're staying emotionally connected. It is very important. Try switching off the TV, talk or play a game with your children, family, or friends. That might be a bit tough. It seems like in some homes the TV buzzes from from the waking hour to when you go to bed. So to become mentally wholesome, one of the advice here is to switch off your TV, switch off your phones, keep them aside. Try to have a conversation, play a game with the family, friends, or your children. Have lunch with someone, have lunch with a colleague, have lunch with a friend. Just go out there and have lunch and laugh. Okay, volunteer at a community-based group, and in a hospital, in a school. And I know back here, volunteering is very difficult. While you actually have good intentions to volunteer, get to learn what's going on, get to contribute your quota to society, you must be wealthy to do that back here, because the transport you will use to go to this volunteering or community-based initiative that you want to volunteer for, however your good intentions are, it might be tough, especially for those who may be unable to afford it. I know certain individuals who can't afford it are now too busy to volunteer. Those who cannot afford it and probably have the good intentions to be part of it cannot afford to be part of it. However, in your small community, you can volunteer. You can start up a volunteering group, clean the environment, try. I keep saying there's so much we can all do to rid our communities of plastic. That's an idea. You can get a fun little club around your community and say, you know what, let's get our community plastic free on a certain day. Those around you can come out and do it. So it doesn't have to be away from your community. You can do something within the community, and there's nothing as sweet, I can't say. There's this feel-good moment you have when you do something that isn't that is selfless. So when you do something selfless, you feel good. Make the most of technology to stay in touch with friends and family. Use video chat apps rather, to FaceTime, to Skype, to just connect with people. These are useful tools that when you live apart from somebody you really love, you can use that to connect as well. So there is a one big don't when trying to be mentally wholesome, and that is do not rely on technology or social media alone to build relationship. It's easy to get into the habit of only ever texting, messaging, or emailing people. It's very easy. So do not rely only on social media. Sometimes you meet people you could easily connect with, but you do not do that because you are busy on your phone, you're texting people who aren't even close to you. Okay, we have finished discussing connecting with people. We'll just quickly go to be physically active. Be physically active. Here it is talking about not only being active, which is not only great for your physical health and fitness. Evidence also shows that it can improve your mental well-being as well. And the do's are as follows. Read about running and aerobic exercises to help you move and improve your fitness. It also says read about strength and flexibility exercises to increase muscle strength, improve balance, and reduce joint pain. And if you're a wheelchair user, read fitness advice for wheelchair users as well. But whatever you do, just try to be physically active. Be physically active. And a lot of people who do it all the time would always say, oh, it feels good to after a long walk or some brisk walk or after running a couple of miles, and when you come back you feel really good about that. And the don'ts for you would be, do not feel you have to spend hours in a gym. It doesn't have to be several hours when you do not want to be Mr. Olympia. It's best to find activities you enjoy and make them a part of your life. That is true. That is why a lot of people try to join gym clubs, and the activities do not really resonate with them, or they try some exercise regimen and it just does not resonate, and after a while they leave it. But figure out what works for you and stay with that. I would be talking about the learn a new skill. That is still talking about mental wholeness. Learn a new skill. Now, research shows that learning new skills can also improve your mental well-being by boosting self-confidence and raising self-esteem, helping you to build a sense of purpose, helping you to connect with others. So yes, try to learn a new skill. That's another tip for mental wholeness. Even if you feel like you do not have enough time, you may need to learn new things. There are lots of different ways to bring learning into your life. These days, a lot of us have, like a friend would call it, YouTube certification. They have doctorate in several YouTube DIY, that do-it-yourself techniques via just some internet. So yeah, there are several skills you can learn. Try learning to cook something new, for instance. Try a new responsibility at work. Know that some of us will be like, you know what, it's bad enough as it is with what I've got, so I don't want to even try to get my employer to know that I can do more. But yeah, try a new activity. It would, like I said, help your self-esteem and improve your mental well-being. Consider signing up for a course at a local college. You could be learning a new language or practical skills such as plumbing, and then try new hobbies. That is one of the things you can learn when it comes to the do's of trying new activities. Well, at this point, we just go for a short break. Bring in Dr. James Komolafe, who will be doing the intervention hour and telling us mental wholeness. Can it even be achieved? We'll be right back to discuss more, so stay with us.
Now wrapping up the day. Unwind with the reminiscence of the day's news from home and abroad with Kaftan TV 7 p.m. news.
Good to have you join us on Kaftan News at 7.
Nigerians are living in 5% are young people we purpose the harmony symphony.
It's good to have you join us on Kaftan TV News at 7.
What we found is that this 10 naira tax is not actually sufficient.
National foreign news headlines. Get balanced, accurate facts on the latest news in business, politics, entertainment, sports, and more. Live from our studios.
Many thanks for watching. Join us again at 9
Kaftan TV News.
Welcome back. Like I told you earlier, we have Dr. James Komolafe right here in the studio, but I hope you enjoyed those mental wholeness tips that I had shared. Now it's time for Dr. James to give us the mental health tips the intervention way. He's talking about mental wholeness, the missing links, and how to fix them. Doc, it's good to have you join us.
Good evening. To be here today on this intervention hour, especially at these hard times where people are trying to just forge a way through and to develop for themselves coping strategies and mechanisms that hits the ground running. Whether it works or not, just do something in order to get going. Do something in order to get going. Yes. Whether it works or not. Dr. James, are you the one saying this? Whether it works or not. That's what do we have the liberty for it not to work? At this point, it just has to work, because if that's that investment we usually do and tell yourself, oh, it's a learning tough. So we can't afford to do that any longer. The room for learning curve now is so slim. True, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because we have an unforgiving terrain right here. Yes, it's you tough. Get it right, it's a pass for you. You get it wrong, no, you will pay for it. You pay for your sins. True. Economic sins, mental sins, and all kinds of sins there. So there are some little gaps here and there in mental health on a violation note, for which people don't take into cognizance that they matter a huge lot. Just like they say, a little drop will make a mighty ocean. Right. So it is with mental health. Remember our IDP without the camp, where you check up how from the neck up in order to be good neck down. And when you are good neck down, you'll be great leg forward. Right. Where I is intentionality. You have to be intentional about everything that you do. No more room for trial and error. No, be intentional. Knowing what to do and doing what you know. And then you have to be deliberate about it. Life should come by this time around out of the rule of deliberate creation. You are deliberate. You know where you're going and you know the road to leading there, and you set out. And then you have to be present. the P variable of it. Be present, be aware. Don't live in denial. Just be yourself. You don't know, you don't know. You know, you know. Then hit the ground running. But while trying to do this, there are some very costly mistakes people make in mental health that creates the gap and loophole. And like I did tell you the last time, you see, mental health violation don't easily show on the face. It doesn't show on the surface, but it accumulates within.
Right.
You keep piling and piling. By the time the behavioral code violation gets filled up, what do you imagine, Joy? It spills out. And that's where you have the reckless abandon. That's where you have people running into sudden collapses. That's where you find people in high blood pressure, partial stroke, God forbid.
Right.
Some even have full-blown stroke, and some even passed on, either in their sleep or wherever, because it has accumulated so much. So we're here to say, hey, every violation in mental health goes to store up within you somewhere, and when that virtual cup gets filled up, you see the impact on the outside.
And that spilling is not good. But let's
let's
talk about the concept.
altogether.
Let's talk about the concept of mental wholeness. Can human beings achieve mental wholeness? That is, they're at the apex of everything they do. Their mental health is balanced, or I don't know the proper term for is all good.
Mental wholeness, Joy, is all embracing and all encompassing. And what is in your mental health? The recesses of your mind, your memory, your reasoning faculties, your capacity to choose, to decide, the power of your determination, and your volition is quite critical, and your emotion, your energies, emotion within you. Your capacity to fix your stress without your stress fixing you is mental health. Your ability to cope neck up, to be good neck down, so that you can be great leg forward. You have to enroll.
Aren't I already enrolled? I sit here every week listening to you. I like to think I should even be offering certification, because at this point, at this rate, I am with Saba resources. But you just talked about a process.
It's
so
a procedure.
It's a procedure,
yes.
Right?
Which you must keep up.
Right. So are there tips you can share so that our viewers right now would understand
every
the
day is a behavioral variable where you burn energy and you also build energy. Just as you take in oxygen in order to take out carbon dioxide, you exude energy. You also generate energy by what you do and what you fail to do. So when the rate of energy expenditure is higher than energy generation without working with PHCN or AEDC, because you might say, which one is
talking about NEPA?
They are now talking about NEPA. Why not talk to us about mental health? And you see, everything about life is energy, either in motion or not in motion, static or potential. So you see, everything you do from a vibrational sense of it is energy. You exude energy. You transfer energy from one form to the other. It cannot be destroyed. It can only be converted. So you burn mental energy, energy of the mind. When you don't burn it appropriately, you enter into one chance. Quote and unquote. Not for vehicle now, but for life. And then there are some violations to mental health. And see, what's the difference, mental health and mental wholeness? When you are good upstairs, and you are in charge, you are mentally healthy.
Right.
What is mental wholeness? When you look around all the issues around your mental health and your emotional health, and you are good all round, you are touching here, touching there, and walking yourself the way you have planned, that's mental wholeness. where you are not deficient anywhere in your mind, in your will, in your emotion, in your volition.
But
you just
said it's a process.
It's a process. You can work towards it. Rome was never built in a day.
Is that a destination that any human being can attain? Mental wholeness.
Yes, that is where you are going. But you have to be aware. APC, awareness. Then you can penetrate that realm and do creative works that befits that space, so that you can say, I'm mentally whole. Being mentally whole does not mean you cannot make mistake or you are perfect, but you are in charge of your cognitive function, how you think, reason, and all of that. You are in charge of your coordination as a person, which is very vital, and your interaction on a daily note with people around you, and you are finding your place and taking your space. You are mentally whole. So very critical. So mental health is just one key, a variable in mental wholeness. Now you hear everybody mental health, but nobody is really talking about mental wholeness. And what is the difference? Where you accommodate gaps, wittingly or unwittingly, you are not mentally whole. You are suffering leakages, not linkages.
Leakages.
You are leaking. You are like a leaking vessel.
Right.
And you see, if you have a GP tank, Joy, in your house that leaks in 15 places, you don't say, oh, the size is so big and so it will retain. Over time, it will drain. And many people are draining mentally.
Be unable to store
as
much as you
can. So what happened? You have flosses, you have losses,
right.
And then people drain. And that's why, Joy, on very many occasions, when people come to therapy, they tell me, doctor, I ran this MIR, I ran this check, I did this biometrics. They didn't see anything. I'll say, yes, that's the nature of the disease. Mental health symptoms, you can't run check and just see it by going to biometrics and all of that, and run CT scan and all of those scans. No, it incubates within, and it will take a mental health therapist, behavioral therapist like us, to be able to invade into you through our 3E model and bring out what is happening to you on the inside. We'll show you your pitch, behaviorally speaking, and show you where you are missing it, how you have missed it, to what quantity and quality, so that with your own agreement will walk you away from that deviant behavior on the inside. Then you can be free on the outside. And that happens for addiction, depression, high blood pressure. That is by just living carelessly and anyhow, or people not sleeping well and all of that. These are actually variables that affect mental health.
If you were listening to us before you came on board, remember we're discussing that connecting with humans, connecting emotionally with people around you is
a huge lot.
Exactly.
It's a mental health issue.
It's a mental health issue.
Yes, very critical.
Why do you think we are beginning to build so many walls instead of bridges, so to speak?
Outside there is difficult and hard. And it will take one who is in mental capacity and control to be able to emotionally demonstrate the intelligence that is needed to cope with times such as this. That's why Daniel Goleman puts it by way of emotional intelligence, where number one, you have to be aware of yourself. What works for you, what does not work for you, what are your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, so that you know what to run away from and what to run towards, and see how you can do the conversion there. You also need to know about your environment, what operates there, what is the regulation there, and showcase empathy and be courteous and all of that. When you put all of those gamuts together, then you play it right when it comes to mental wholeness. But where you just throw caution to the wind and lose your guard and say, everybody mind yourself, who doesn't know economy is biting hard, heaven is falling is not only on you. So you need to be in charge and to be aware. Where people are not aware, then they entertain losses. They entertain leakages and drainages. And that's why I'm here to point out to some of those little things we say don't matter, but they are now fast becoming matters arising when it comes to mental wholeness. So it's very critical that you know them, block those windows, bad windows, and close all the doors so that you can retain, maintain, as you integrate what value you are bringing to the table. So relationship-wise, you have to be mentally sound, emotionally strong, to be able to interact, interface, so as to intervene in the daily affairs of life. Any good relationship must follow that track.
Interact.
You have the capacity and the power to interact, discuss, engage people meaningfully at your own level. I will say you are perfect and people are not going to hurt you. People will deliberately hurt you. But what can you do? Talk about issues, not talk to people. And then...
No, I think you should say that again. Talk about issues.
Talk about issues.
And not talk to people.
Don't take it on people.
Right.
It's one thing to say you are a bad driver. It's another thing to say this driving is bad. The latter seems as if I shouted, but that's the correct way to say it. You talk about the issue, not the person behind, the personality behind the issue. If I just looked at you and I say, Joy, car, you are a bad driver out here. Now I have left the issue of your wrong driving and I'm taking it on you.
It feels like an attack.
You. Right. It's not a feeling. It's a reality. I have just attacked you verbally. It's a verbal attack. Which can cause you emotional injury there.
So we have to be emotionally intelligent in our relationship.
In our relationship.
Right.
These are not the days to want to take a pound of flesh. Because in your attempt to taking a pound of flesh, you might take so many other things. You did
more than a pound. Because after all, who's measuring?
Who's measuring? You might overdo. So that's why, please, take care of your mind. The mind you don't take care of will deplete your might.
Your might?
Yes. The mind you don't take care of will deplete your might. So it is mind for the might. Show me a mighty man, I will show you a man who is in charge of his mind. What filters through and what goes out of him is in charge, is in control. And we are saying that is necessary to keep tab with your mental wholeness. But look at gaps, loopholes, and vacuum. In the Cyber Resources Intervention Hub, we call it the GLV mantra.
GLV?
Yes.
The Cyber Resources Intervention seem to have a lot of acronyms.
A lot of acronyms because you must live by something.
Now, how do you
Man shall not live by just talk. You must be able to break them down into simple stuff. So the GLV mantra of the eduvention culture says, what are the gaps? Find out. Mental health gaps. What are the loopholes? Find out. And then what are the vacuums? And you know what we do in eduvention? We do conversion. The gaps to grant for value creation. The vacuum, you turn them to value. And the loopholes, when you block it, they become lifelines. And these are what we do with reality checks.
Right.
That will show us all of these variables and we say, hey, madam, you are 45% in this area. So you are leaking 55%. And we will show you through your behavioral pitch which one they will come and show here. You will be my specimen that day. I will bring in somebody and we will work out your mental health and show you the value of your emotional reality. Will show you how well you have fared on the inside. When those variables are not handled, they keep incubating and they don't get to show on the face. For example, Joy, when you abuse your sleep protocol, it's a mental health issue. And what do I mean by abuse? Today, last night you slept by 9. Day before yesterday, it was 2 a.m. Same you. And then the previous day, you slept by 1. You are distorting your inner clock.
So what's the right thing to do? Have a sleeping
You must have a sleep protocol. You must fix your sleep. When you hit bed, you know many people hit bed but they don't sleep or rest.
Right.
It's one thing to even climb bed to say you want to sleep.
And
it's another thing for you
turn off and actually sleep.
To sleep is yet another thing for you to rest through sleep. Because many people actually burn more energy in bed than a factory site worker.
Wow.
How do I mean?
They are mentally busy.
you must have some experience there.
I have
Some of your journalistic work and your planning. You see, people carry work to bed emotionally, mentally. That's a behavioral error.
Okay.
That will impact on your mental wholeness because you are not resting. Your mind is at work, your brain is at work, you have not tuned down. So calculate the gap between when you hit bed and then when you actually fall asleep. And then when do you wake up? Try as much as possible to keep a bracket.
Okay.
You're going to be sleeping by 9 and waking up 5. Medicine says you should do 8 hours.
8 hours for an adult.
But behaviorally speaking, when you do 6, you can cope with 6.
So in this economy,
yes,
you can achieve.
You can achieve 6 hours sleep.
I mean, true sleep where you are
where you are well rested.
You are well rested. You're not pressured about work. So how can we achieve it? Because
very important.
I've been having several conversations with people who say, you know what, I struggle with sleep
because
I have so much in my mind. They are out of therapy.
Yes.
So are there tips you can share?
A huge lot. I handle sleep protocol, local, national, international.
I'm sure you do,
people.
Doctor. I'm sure you do.
So what are the tips?
Right.
Place 1, see sleep as an investment. Invest to sleep, because you see there are 25 benefits of good sleep, great sleep. You can Google it and see them, a huge lot, but make sure it's the one that is customized to our client. Otherwise they will tell you what doesn't exist here. So what am I saying? Please invest to sleep, and then make your sleep protocol a good and a huge one. You are going to be doing 6. Please try as much as possible. Bracket open when you hit bed and bracket close when you are coming out of bed. Should be a little bit regular. And then don't sleep in piecemeal. You say, doctor, won't you pray and do your night watches? Do, but when you are waking up 3-4 times between 9 and 4, who did you offend? You are not allowing your vital organs, your kidney, your liver, and all of those things to actually relax and process what you have done in the day, so that they can recalibrate you and give you your new list of energy for the new day. That's why a wise man and a king of kings says, night cometh when no man can walk. Use your day to walk. Night, rest. Night is for sleep. And then you find some people who say, wow, night is my best time to walk. And then they reverse their sleep. That's not to say they sleep in the afternoon. They only catch naps. Such people are borrowing from a life they have not lived.
Even essential workers, because I know that sometimes it's necessary for your job. Essential workers.
Sometimes, not all the time.
I mean, I know journalists who work all night. I know doctors. I know
and
nurses.
they run shifts.
They run shifts.
And after the shift, they go back to the normal stuff. And that's what behavioral health and mental health is talking about. Where you have some of these lapses on a deliberate note, make up your mind to also go back and fix them. Don't wait until you are completely fagged out before you return and recline to rest. You say, I can still cope. And you know the African cliche, I can still manage. When you talk to them about their mental wholeness, they say, well, young man, when we get to the bridge, we will know what to do to cross it. And surprisingly, they get to the bridge without even realizing it. So that's why your sleep protocol is very critical. You are having problem with sleep. The solution is not to use drug, use sedative and all of that. It's palliative. And before too long, it's going to turn to an addiction for you. And your mind will tell you, you have not taken your drug. You have not taken your pill, so you cannot sleep. No. Sleep is naturally woven into us. When we do the right thing, then we'll be able to sleep. So are you aiding your sleep? That is an issue needing an hour therapy there to be fit.
Hour.
Yes.
An hour
it's
therapy.
not a talk.
Okay.
You know, I talk about 5T model of behavioral modification. You can't modify any behavior by just talking. That's motivation. No, it won't do it. What's the 5T model? First T is teaching or training, which is education. Second T is testing. We'll test you spot on, which is evaluation. Then the third T is treating, which is intervention. And the fourth T is trending, which is integration. And the fifth T is trusting out an incentive, which is execution. If we don't follow all these lines, you just discover that you are motivated for 1 or 2 days, and then you go back to the status quo and you say, I don't know, I still cannot sleep well, because you only had a talk, not therapy. Although there's a therapy, but we go deep in behavior modification so as to show you what is happening, what are the rate of violation, and then we walk you away from it with intentionality, deliberateness, and presence. You have to accept and agree that that is it. And another critical area where people are missing it when it comes to mental wholeness is that mismatch of burning and building energies. Some people wait until they are fagged out before they retire and rest. And you see, on very many occasions, civil service culture and people who serve government are very culpable in this. You are going on leave, all the files
follow you home.
Follow you home.
Is it because we have not learned to do vacationing in Nigeria?
And then university lecturers too. They are going on sabbatical. Then they fix 2 or 3 universities. You see? They all have their mental health repercussions.
Is this not because of economic pressures?
The pressures will be, but we should be within manageable
like Nigerians will say, problem no they finish.
Everybody should know what their capacity to absorb is. When you break your behavioral stretches on the low and on the high, it comes back to break your lifestyle. And when your lifestyle is broken down, your immunity suffers for it. Then you become exposed. And then you age so quick. Why? Because you have entertained losses, leakages in your mental health. So mental health is very critical. And then look at this simple one, Joy, that many people out there don't even take into cognizance. And in the mental health balance, in behavioral health balance, when you carry all your assignment and all the details and schedule on your brain, we see you as carrying load already. Not too many people know how to diarize. Do a daily to-do list. Okay, by 8 or 9 I will do this, I'll put a call through, I'll do this. That helps you to keep sanity and sanctity of the mind. But by the time you say, no, I have the best of the brain, I'm a first class candidate and all of that, and then you mop in all the assignments of the day, the good, the bad, and the ugly, we already see you as carrying load. So you have over labored your brain. So why not put it down in ink and paper so as to separate your personality from your activity? When you don't do that over time, you discover that you are emotionally unstable, mentally weak, and drained, just because you are putting load on your brain too much. So the faintest pencil is better than the brightest of all of the brains. So learn to diarize.
Okay.
Get a diary, write them down so as to separate between your person and your activity.
Okay.
And you get going. It gets you organized, cute, and fresh.
Oh, cute and fresh.
Yes.
Speaking
on
about
the inside, not on the face.
Speaking about cute and fresh,
yes.
we had also talked about the need for exercises.
Yes.
As
aerobics, keeping fit.
Okay.
Physical, mental exercises. Yoga is good for you. Go into personal time retreat where all you do is just to reflect, look at things, issues, minutest things around you, and do mindfulness, where you cultivate the power of personal presence. There you'll be able to exude more energy and see where to cross your T and dot your I. It's a power. In fact, one day we'll come here and just talk about the power of personal presence. Mindfulness. When you are not mindful, you are not thoughtful of some certain things having to do with your life. And that's when people will keep pointing at errors and all of that. At times, you know, when you are not mindful, you are wearing a shirt like this, you could do it the other way. You see, oh, I didn't see. So mindfulness is actually to turn the searchlight inward.
Okay.
Not pointing accusing finger why it is not done, but you turn the searchlight inward.
Taking responsibility.
Taking responsibility. And that's still another thing for me there. Responsibility has 3 variables.
Okay, that has to be quickly because we really have run out of time.
The ability you have, the reality around your space inside out, and the activity you do. When you combine these 3, you are responsible. Okay. So your food, your nutritional balance is so critical, and then your exercise, the emotional issues you put in, they are so good. And then make sure from time to time you do mental evacuation and emotional detoxification. You want to ask me what that means?
I don't even have the luxury of time. I wish I had the luxury of time to ask.
Too full and congested. You do mental decongestion.
Mental decongestion.
Yes, issues, people, all kinds of mental toxin. People offended you. You say, I can't forget. 83, 17 December, 4 p.m. 2 people were there. The one that paid me most was July 7, 1985. I thought it was for. In fact, Joy was there. It was 3:30.
Right.
You wonder. Same brain.
So
long needing
if there's anything
in your mind.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. James Komolafe. Please on declutter. Yeah,
yes,
that's the word.
And it's not just what you can do on your own. And all of the mental blockages and all of that. And for free, we are offering these services at least for you to know. Okay. Because if you don't know, you cannot grow or show. So the no-grow show strategy.
Okay, here we go. If you do not know, you will not be able to show. Dr. James Komolafe has all these acronyms, and there are a lot. But do yourself a favor, call him out so you can declutter, unclog, or whatever it is. Stop remembering those things that are in the past, especially when they conjure up negative feelings. Thank you so much for being part of it. Thank you so much, Dr. James Komolafe. Thank you for everyone who was part of this program. We'll be back tomorrow again with so much more. Do have a restful evening, and yes, sleep and the proper sleep that Dr. James just talked about. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much.